One of the most successful, commonly used attack tools is a web shell. While they can be used for legitimate purposes, their intent is often malicious. Dissecting the web shell attack pattern starts with the attacker doing recon against its target, trying to locate publicly accessible web servers, usually located within an organization's DMZ environment. Once a server is identified, the attacker scans the web server for potential vulnerabilities, which can be off-the-shelf or zero-day vulnerabilities available in his arsenal. The sole intent at this point is to operate below the radar to identify weak spots in the organization's layered defense mechanisms. The attacker either uses an existing web shell, there are thousands of them available, or easily creates one. Once the attacker has their campaign ingredients lined up, they begin exploiting web server vulnerabilities. They drop their malicious web shell into the web server in order to obtain remote code execution access. Their next step is to escalate privileges and gain persistency on the web server. At that point in time, the attacker also makes sure they have multiple Plan Bs by moving laterally, rinsing and repeating the web shell drop. This is where the attacker starts communicating back and forth, either dropping content or exfiltrating corporate data. This is where RSA NetWitness comes in. Let's see the full attack from detection to investigation and response. The security analyst logs into the RSA NetWitness Suite and lands at the new RSA NetWitness Respond interface. She can see that the first incident at the top of the queue, tagged as high, is a potential encoded web shell detected incident. She assigns it and continues investigating, seeing that there were two separate alerts aggregated under this single incident. She first pivots to the attack network topology nodal view in order to get an at-a-glance view of the potential attack and to evaluate risk and scope. She takes a look at the external IP, which seems to be communicating with a local web server. Using LiveConnect, RSA NetWitness Community Threat Intel, she identifies that this IP has returned an unsafe result, confirming malicious intent. She also identifies a file potentially being used to communicate. Within this view, we identify that event stream analysis threat content available from RSA Live was used as the detection trigger. Confirming malicious intent and identifying attack scope, the security analyst is ready to pivot to the associated web server for further business context and to initiate investigation. Using context enrichment, she identifies it as a part of the web server's list, and using asset information from RSA Archer, such as device owner, business unit, and more, she is able to identify its respective business risk. She is now ready to initiate investigation to fully identify the scope of the attack campaign. Pivoting to investigate, our analyst sees 6 relevant sessions she would like to investigate further using the event analysis module. On the left side, she sees the attack storyline, which shows those sessions in chronological order. Moving to the request pane, the traffic that was sent to the organization's web server, she can clearly see a post, no get, to email.aspx, the suspected malicious web shell, and what appears to be a base64 encoding blob. By marking the relevant string, she can automatically decode and see what the command actually is. She sees that it is calling a new command called Z1 and decides to look deeper into that. She sees an nstat command being triggered against the web server as the attacker tries to map the server network topology. Now, to complete the view, she adds the response pane to her view and immediately sees data being sent to the attacker, as well as potential access points through the server to corporate crown jewels. Moving to the second session, she identifies a similar base64 structure and knows to use the embedded decoding capabilities. This time, the attacker is trying to echo the compromised web server directory structure, and by looking at the response, the analyst can confirm that the data is outbound. Remember these two files, logo.png and logo2.png. We will soon see them again. Now, the analyst identifies that the next session has increased in size to about 1 megabyte, and she suspects that a data exfiltration is taking place. Indeed, she sees a request for a specific file extraction in a compressed RAR file. With this evidence in mind, the analyst evaluates the business risk using RSA NetWitness full session reconstruction. She navigates to the File Analysis module and downloads the exfiltrated file for later use. Now that the security analyst has the full picture of the attack, she looks to identify additional tagged metadata based on RSA Live out-of-the-box threat intel, such as the China Chopper IOC, confirming the type of Webshell being used and a suspicious RAR file encrypted tag identified. From detection to full investigation in a single platform, leveraging both log and network data, the analyst is able to respond effectively.